welcome to this episode of Chris and Dean's Movie Picks, where we give our movie recommendations. I'm going to start with my recommendation of a 2020 documentary Norwegian film called The Painter and the Thief. And this follows the story of Czech artist Barbara Kysilkova, who, very talented artist, she has some of her artwork stolen by thieves. The theft is recorded on security video. The thief is brought to justice. She meets the thief in the courthouse, and what ensues is a 3-year friendship between the artist and the thief. And it's quite a remarkable story that unfolds between these two. And really recommend The Painter and the Thief, available on Hulu or for rent on any streaming service.
Okay, I'm going to have to watch that one. So my pick for this week is we're reaching into the vault for a classic, Midnight Cowboy, 1969. I keep being shocked by how many people, especially younger people who love film, have not seen some of these classics. This is one you've got to see. I mean, I guess what'll be the first line in its Wikipedia entry forever is that it's the only film in Oscar history to win Best Picture with an X rating, which actually was changed to R the next year and would only ever be an R from then on. The second line in the Wikipedia entry forever will be what is possibly the best ad lib in the history of Hollywood filmmaking, which you may have even said without knowing where it's from. I'm walking here, Dustin Hoffman. So this is the incredibly beautiful story of a sweet, not very smart, young, good-looking fella from Texas who decides to take the bus to New York City and be a hustler, and to make a lot of money by taking rich, lonely women to bed. Jon Voight is brilliant. He is just, and Dustin Hoffman, the 1969, it's very much of a style that was of the period where a lot of the things are over the top. Everything is very intense. Some of the supporting characters are over the top to the point of grotesque. Dustin Hoffman, who had just been kind of a smooth, romantic leading man in The Graduate and wanted to not get typecast as that Ratso Rizzo, who is just this scuzzy Times Square thief squatting in this terrible, rotting little apartment in a condemned building. And there's this unlikely odd couple friendship that blooms between the two. It's interesting to watch Dustin Hoffman's performance again. And I'll leave it to you to judge, is he too over the top as well? Or no, is it just, oh man, brilliant. It's to me, it's on the edge. But Jon Voight, it's so, everything is happening on the inside. Everything's happening in his eyes, and he's just gorgeous. So, Midnight Cowboy.
May I just add that this is one of those movies, Dean, that I think had the kind of the perfect marriage of a musical score that fit the film so well and enhanced the film so greatly. Of course, it famously featured Harry Nilsson's Everybody's Talking.
Yeah.
But it had a musical score highlighted by a theme played on harmonica.
By Toots Thielman, the great.
I didn't remember that. But
Yes.
so haunting and so evocative.
Yeah.
That just made it for me.
Absolutely. Let me say about the song, it's Harry Nilsson singing it, but the song was written by Fred Neil. Harry Nilsson was an incredible singer. He could do anything. I can't remember the name of the pop ballad, which is his best-selling thing of all time, but there's that. This is completely different. And then, put the lime in the coconut, shake them all up. Completely different. The guy could do anything. There are two other songs that almost became the song. One of them, Leonard Cohen, Bird on a Wire. The other, Bob Dylan, Lay Lady Lay. Now, if you've, like me, been seeing this movie forever and seeing how beautifully the whole opening, 15 or 20 minutes or so, is cut to work with that song, you can't imagine it with any other song. But it's a very interesting thought experiment to try to imagine it with one of those other two brilliant but very different songs, and to ask yourself, would the film have still worked as beautifully?
Yeah. And lastly, we'd like to preview a film that will be discussed on an upcoming episode with documentary filmmaker Betsy Chassey, who directed What the Bleep Do We Know? And her recommended film is a 2012 documentary called The Imposter, which is the story of a young con artist found in Europe who convinces a Texas family that he is their long lost son and fools the authorities and takes up residence with them back home in Texas. But it's a twisty, turny tale. It goes places unexpected and unimagined. And you'll get more out of the episode with Betsy if you watch The Imposter ahead of time, streaming on any of the services. So we really recommend as well The Imposter. So that wraps it up for this episode of Chris and Dean's Movie Picks. We'll see you next week.
See ya.